I was standing in my sister's backyard, watching a little girl with paint on her fingers help my nephew take his first steps, while the man I loved laughed beside the grill. My parents were smiling. My sister was smiling. Everyone looked like a family. And for the first time, I did not feel like the extra person in the room. But 6 months earlier, at a brunch full of white roses and quiet judgment, my sister had taken a microphone and told everyone I would never understand real love. My name is Amelia Grant. I design museum exhibits in Boston. My job was to take broken pieces of history and arrange them so people could feel something. Strangers respected my work. Magazines wrote about it. Clients waited months for me. But in my family, I was still the daughter who worked too much, lived alone, and had somehow missed the right life. My younger sister, Brooke, was different. Brooke was a pediatric dentist. She had a perfect house, a perfect husband named Caleb, and now a baby on the way. My parents talked about her like she was their greatest proof that they had done life correctly. When Brooke announced her pregnancy, my mother cried. My father opened expensive champagne. I hugged Brooke and meant it. Then my mother squeezed my shoulder and whispered, "Maybe this will inspire you." That was how it always happened. No one yelled. No one attacked. They just handed me tiny cuts and expected me to smile. The brunch was held at a lakeside clubhouse outside the city. White roses, blue ribbons, polished floors, glass walls. Brooke called it small, though nearly 70 people were there. I almost turned around in the parking lot. I had spent weeks making Brooke's gift, a custom nursery mobile with brass, soft blue glass, and tiny wooden stars. When it moved, it looked like a little sky turning over a crib. Brooke opened the box, looked at it for 1 second, and said, "Oh, that's nice. Nice." Then she closed the box. We already ordered something from a designer in Vermont, but I'm sure we can use it somewhere. Somewhere. Like a hallway. A closet. A place handmade things want to disappear. I nodded because I had trained myself to survive moments like that. Then came the questions. Aunt Marjorie asked if there was a special man. Another cousin asked if I had frozen my eggs. Someone told me work would not keep me warm at night. I wanted to say a bad marriage would not either. Instead, I smiled and drank water. During one game, everyone wrote advice for the new mother on little cloud-shaped cards. I stared at mine for a long time. What could I say? I had never been pregnant. I had never been married. In that room, my life seemed to count less because it had not followed the same road. Finally, I wrote, "Trust yourself. The baby will not need perfect. He will need present." When it was read aloud, my mother said, "That's very poetic, Amelia." Poetic. Another word people used when they did not want to say useful. There are rooms that make you smaller just by asking you to stand in them too long. That brunch was one of them. People knew my birthday, my middle name, and the street where I learned to ride a bike. But no one seemed to know how tired I was of being treated like an unfinished woman. Then the toasts began. Caleb spoke first. My father followed. He called Brooke steady, wise, and the one who understood what truly mattered. Family, he said, was the greatest legacy. Everyone clapped. Then Brooke took the microphone. "I want to thank my sister Amelia for coming," she said. Everyone turned toward me. Amelia has always been the creative one. She makes beautiful spaces for strangers. Though I guess some people understand rooms better than relationships. A few people laughed. My face went hot. Brooke smiled wider. Growing up, everyone thought Amelia would be the first to have this life. Husband, children, family dinners. But here I am, beating her to it. I guess life has a way of showing us who really understands love. The room went quiet. Not silent. Worse. Careful. Someone gave an uncomfortable laugh. My father stared into his glass. My mother pressed her lips together like she wanted the problem to disappear without naming who caused it. I stood up. Brooke blinked. "Amelia, I need air." My mother whispered, "Don't make a scene." That almost made me laugh. I had not made the scene. I had only stopped pretending I was not bleeding in it. I walked into the garden behind the clubhouse and sat on a stone bench under a maple tree. The air smelled like lake water and cut grass. Then I cried. I cried because I was angry at Brooke. I cried because my parents had let her say it. Mostly, I cried because some tired part of me believed them. Maybe I was behind. Maybe I had built beautiful spaces for everyone except myself. Then a small voice said, "Do you want a napkin?" I looked up. A little girl stood on the path holding a folded white napkin. She had dark curls, yellow shoes, and blue paint on one sleeve. "I'm okay," I said. She studied me. "That is not what okay looks like." Behind her, a man hurried down the path. "Mia," he said, "you can't just walk up to people like that." But she was crying. He looked at me, then quickly looked away, giving me the kindness of not staring. "I'm sorry," he said. "My daughter believes privacy is something adults invented to avoid questions." Despite myself, I laughed. The girl held out the napkin again. "It's clean." "I only used the other one for frosting." I took it. "Thank you, Mia." "I'm Owen Parker," the man said. "Amelia Grant." Mia climbed onto the bench beside me like we had planned to meet. "My dad teaches history," she said. "He bought an old house with scary wallpaper. You should fix it." Owen closed his eyes for 1 second. "Mia." "What?" "You said the duck wallpaper was a crime." He sighed. "I did say that." For the first time that day, I laughed without forcing it. Owen sat at the other end of the bench, leaving space between us. "You're here for Brooke and Caleb?" he asked. "My sister." He said softly. There was no judgment in it. Only recognition. Mia pulled out a tiny sketchbook and began drawing. "What are you making?" I asked. "You," she said. But not crying. "I'm drawing you like a lady with rain in her eyes." My throat tightened. Owen said, "Mia, that's personal." She shrugged. "Rain helps flowers." And just like that, a 7-year-old said the kindest thing anyone had said to me all day. When we returned inside, Mia insisted I sit with them for cake. Owen found me a chair. Brooke noticed. Of course she did. For 20 minutes, I breathed easier. Then Mia accidentally knocked blueberry lemonade onto Brooke's cream dress. Brooke gasped. Mia's face crumpled. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." Before Brooke could snap, I stood. "It's okay. Cold water first. No rubbing." I took Brooke to the restroom and worked on the stain. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then Brooke said, "You seem to be enjoying yourself." I kept blotting the dress. "A child spilled a drink." "I'm handling it." "You know what I mean." Owen has been through a lot. I don't want things to get weird. I looked at her in the mirror. "You humiliated me in front of an entire room, and you're worried I might confuse kindness?" It was a joke. No, it was a message dressed like a joke. The door opened. My mother stepped in with a towel inside. "Girls, please." "Not today." I stared at her. "Why not today?" "Because this is Brooke's day." I laughed once. "It is always Brooke's day." My mother's face tightened. "Amelia." "No. I'm done pretending I'm difficult because I react when someone hurts me." Brooke whispered, "I didn't mean it." "But you said it. And you've been allowed to be careless with me for so long that everyone forgot carelessness still counts." No one answered. I finished cleaning the stain because I had started and because I was still me. Then I walked out. Outside, Owen and Mia were near the parking lot. "We're getting ice cream," Mia said. "Do you want to come?" Owen looked embarrassed. "You don't have to." I looked back at the clubhouse. Through the glass, I saw my parents looking for me, annoyed more than worried. Then I looked at Mia holding her sketchbook. "Yes," I said. "I would like ice cream." At a small shop near the lake, Owen told me his wife had died 3 years earlier. Mia had been 4. He spoke carefully, like grief was something he had learned to carry without dropping. I told him about my work. For once, someone listened without waiting to correct the shape of my life. Before we left, Mia gave me her drawing. A woman under a tree, clouds over her head, flowers near her shoes. At the bottom she had written, "The lady with rain in her eyes." I kept it. A week later, Owen called. He said Caleb had given him my number and asked if I would look at his old townhouse professionally. The duck wallpaper, he said, had become an urgent historical crisis. I should have said I was busy. Instead, I went. The house was old, narrow, and full of stubborn corners. It had creaking stairs, uneven floors, and windows that caught light beautifully. Mia named every room before I chose colors. The front room became the map room. The reading nook became the quiet cave. The kitchen became the pancake kingdom. What began as a consultation became dinners with takeout boxes and paint samples spread between us. Owen never asked why I was not married like it was a missing credential. He never treated my work like a hobby. When I spoke, he listened as if my words arrived whole. One evening, after Mia fell asleep on the sofa, Owen and I sat on the back steps drinking tea. He said, "When you're here, the house feels less like something I bought to start over, and more like somewhere we might actually live." I looked down at my cup. "When I'm here," I said, "I don't feel like I have to explain why my life still counts." His voice softened. "That should never have been something you had to explain." 3 months after the brunch, Brooke had her baby, a little boy named Noah. My mother called and said Brooke wanted to see me. I almost said no. Owen did not tell me what to do. He only said, "You can go without forgiving everything. Sometimes showing up is for you." So I went. Brooke looked pale and small in the hospital bed, Noah asleep against her chest. "You came," she said. "You asked." I looked at the baby. "He's beautiful." Her eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry," she said. I stayed quiet. At the brunch, she continued, "I told myself it was just a joke. But it wasn't. I wanted everyone to see I had something you didn't." The honesty surprised me. Brooke wiped her cheek. "I always knew Mom and Dad praised me because I did things the way they understood. But they kept your magazine articles too. Dad showed one to Caleb once. I saw him. I blinked. I hated that," she whispered. "Because if you were special too, then maybe I wasn't safe." For the first time, I saw the cage she had been living in. It did not erase what she had done, but it explained the shape of it. "I spent years thinking you had all their love," I said. "And I spent years thinking I had to keep earning it." Noah stirred between us. "I can't pretend the brunch didn't hurt," I said. "I know. And I can't keep being the person everyone uses to feel normal." Brooke nodded. "I don't want you to." I believed her as much as I could then. Not completely, but enough to leave the door unlocked. Healing is not always a grand speech. Sometimes it is one honest sentence. One boundary. One visit where you do not betray yourself to make everyone comfortable. Months passed. Owen finished the house. Or, as Mia said, the house finished us. Mia taped her drawing of me near the stairs. Later, I noticed she had added something to it. The woman still had clouds above her head, but now she was holding hands with a little girl. Behind them was a house with yellow windows. I stood there looking at it for a long time. Owen found me and did not ask why I was crying. He just stood beside me. That was the difference. In my family, tears had always been treated like a problem. With Owen and Mia, they were treated like weather. Something that came, something that passed, something that did not make the sky less worthy. Spring came soft and green that year. Brooke invited us to a small backyard dinner for Noah. I almost refused, but Mia begged to see the baby, and Owen said we could leave anytime. So we went. That is where this story began. Mia helped Noah wobble across the grass. Caleb and Owen talked by the grill. My parents smiled from the patio. Brooke came to stand beside me with 2 glasses of lemonade. "Blueberry," she said. But this time, no cream dress. I looked at her. She smiled carefully. I smiled back. It was not perfect, but it was real. Later, Owen called my name from under the maple tree. Mia stood beside him, bouncing on her toes like she was holding the biggest secret in the world. Owen took my hand. "I had a speech," he said. Mia said it had too many commas. "It did," Mia said. He laughed, then looked at me. "Amelia, when we met, you were sitting under a tree trying to disappear. Somehow, you helped us come back to life. You made our house feel like home. You made my daughter feel understood. And you made me believe love could be gentle and still be strong." My breath caught. He took out a ring. "I'm not asking you to complete our family," he said. "You are not a missing piece. You are a whole person. I'm asking if you will let us keep choosing you every day." For years, I thought love would arrive like proof. Proof that I was not behind. Proof that I was not too late. proof that I had finally become the woman my family could understand. But standing there, with Mia holding my dress and Owen waiting, I realized love is not proof. It is peace. So I said yes. Mia shouted. Brooke cried. My mother cried. Even my father wiped his eyes and pretended it was allergies. Later, Brooke stood beside me. I'm happy for you, she said. I waited for the pinch that used to follow her words. It did not come. I'm happy too, I said. She looked at Mia chasing bubbles with Noah. She loves you. I love her. Brooke nodded. You understand family better than I gave you credit for. I looked at my sister, at the woman who hurt me and the woman trying not to be that person anymore. Then I looked at Owen and Mia. I think I had to stop begging to be seen, I said, before I could recognize the people who were already looking. That night, I went home to the old townhouse with yellow windows. Mia fell asleep in the car holding my hand. Owen carried her inside, and I followed with her shoes. The house was quiet. The kind of quiet that does not feel empty. I looked at the drawing near the stairs. The woman with rain in her eyes was still there. But now she had flowers at her feet, a child beside her, and a home behind her. I used to think the worst moment of my life happened at that brunch. Now I think it was a doorway. A painful one. A humiliating one. One I would never ask to walk through again. But still, a doorway. Because on the other side was a little girl with a clean napkin, a man with a tired smile, an old house full of duck wallpaper, and a version of myself I had not met yet. A woman who did not need to be chosen by everyone. Only by the right people. And finally, by herself.